Well, hello there, Mr. Vito. Greetings from Wyoming. Half the state being shut down. Welcome in. Tracy Plemons, thank you for joining me again. I appreciate it. So we are here in Sioux City, Iowa for the night. I just basically all day sat around doing pretty much nothing. I mean, I got some chores done. Nothing too fancy. I got all my dishes done. I got all my laundry done. So really good for that. Now it's just a question of this lazy SOB putting that stuff away where it belongs. Which sometimes, whatever. You sometimes you just don't feel like completing that last little bit. But we got all that done. We got like I said, we got one video edited today, which I should have had more done, but one video edited and uploaded, was just uploaded right now. Ag Holler, how you doing? Just finished watching your last video. Well, in part, I had to turn it off, but I just watched that. Here in Sioux City, it pretty much has been snowing since before 5 o'clock, I would say, this morning, and it pretty much just stopped right now. I mean, there might be a flurry coming through or two, but for the most part, there you go. Rhonda, how you doing? Stephen, welcome. Mr. Johnson, hello, sir. Thank you for joining me. Like I said, we got pretty much everything we needed to get done today, so not too big of an issue. It's been fairly cold all day. I mean, in the mid to upper teens for the most part. I think I had one gust of wind that rocked the truck again. So, Stevie, how you doing? I'd like to talk to you later. We will, be here until about 6 a.m. tomorrow, where we will be going and making our delivery of these 8 trailers. Mr. Richardson, how you doing, sir? Appreciate having in. It's like I said, because we have an 8 o'clock appointment, and I think the road should be perfectly fine. There might be one or two places where a little bit of ice is developed, but it seems like the roads are pretty passable. I've not seen any issue because the road right in front of me, people have been moving by pretty steadily and easy all day long. So I said, we will give a little bit extra time so we can go slow on the road. And, pardon me. Now, just to take it easy, because I'm not in a rush to get there and have an accident on the way. That's not what I do. That's not how I operate. Yeah, I mean, I thought you had left McPherson today. Huh. Oh, well, I mean, just hopefully you stay warm. You have plenty of water. You have a bit of food on the truck. You have, plenty of heat. So hopefully that doesn't need. Okay. Barstow. I tried to come through Barstow the last time I was in California this past week or so. Tried to go that way, but they wouldn't let me. I had to head down to L.A. with that last big load coming out of there. Wouldn't let me go out 40. Took me all the way down to I-10 from Madera. Sir, I am heading up here about 40, 50 miles north up to Orange City, Iowa. North and just a little bit east of Sioux City here. So, it's about 45, 50 minutes away, but I'm going to take it a little bit slower because of the roads. Hey, Baylor. Oh, yeah. I picked up a small one more than a month ago. They're in Georgia. Pain in the neck. Real small, little toe behind jobber. Stevie, I don't get to do that as much as I used to. I still think about that, but I'll talk to you later, and we'll have a little talk about that. Because I do have a lot to say to you. But yeah, I don't get to have as much on the truck, so I don't get to draw and think about things like that and the inventions and designs that I used to, because I enjoy doing that. But I just haven't had the mindset or having the stuff on the truck to be able to do that, because living in a truck for the most part, you have to kind of weigh. I don't have the guitar on the truck like I used to. It was just in the way. I never had time to take it out and practice. Really the only hobby I have right now is eating, cooking, and doing the YouTube. That's my hobby right now. But I did have a pretty decent breakfast this morning. I made potatoes and eggs, and I had a little bit of bacon. Three good sunny side up eggs with all that nice yolk going everywhere. I've been trying to play guitar, even way back when, there in Maryland. I was trying to learn guitar, but never had the time or really the talent for it. So I'm still fighting to learn. But maybe one day when I have a little bit, when things settle out with the job, there's still so much to learn. If I knew I was going to have this much downtime, I probably would have brought it on the truck with me. But there you go. It's just a question of when. A tuba, yeah, that'll fit in real well. middle of the night, I'm blowing a tuba in a truck stop. That'll make me real popular at the truck stop, blowing a tuba. I barely got room for an extra hat, much less a tuba. Just the stuff that goes with the GoPro, takes up an entire cabinet. All my camera gear. I got four bags or 3 bags of this case, and I got a box the same size as this, taking up room. Actually, I need to put that up there while I'm thinking about it. I got 2 bags this size for my GoPro stuff and for my DSLR. I got 2 of those. I got my shoulder bag. Then I got mounts and all that other stuff. This whole box here is camera stuff. All my extra cameras. I got straps and head mounts and cables. I'm trying a new position up here. I got a camera mount right there, so I can do my my cooking shots when I do cooking. Then I can aim it right down at the table here, so I can do the cooking videos. I'm going to try that position. Then I got a mount up on the dash. Then I have other mounts that I can put elsewhere, plus tripods, plus clamps. All the other accessories that go with it. Yeah, Vito, do it. I started this channel solely as a diary of my career. That's the reason I started. But as I've gained, I just passed 670 subscribers. And I had people who decided to watch, and I do extra videos and the live streams to communicate with the audience, which I enjoy. I mean, I don't know if anybody else does. I mean, got 10 people watching now and people answering, putting in the comments, so it must not be that boring to them. Or maybe they're just pointing at the screen and laughing at this idiot, you know? Well, see, that's the thing, Stephen. I spent 10 years of my life growing up in Japan. Sushi is one of those dishes I never really liked. Now, the farmhouse cooking is, is much more my speed. The stuff that's cooked, like the regular farmer's eat, not that fat, because sushi was invented to be fast food. It's the McDonald's of Japan from a couple hundred years ago. I like it when I have a bowl of noodles and rice and things that are cooked, all the way through. I just never was a big sushi fan. My sister, on the other hand, maybe it's just the 3-year difference in age between me and my sister. She was younger. At the time, it influenced her a little bit more, but I think overall, I got a broader influence from that time growing up in Japan in the 70s, in the 80s. I got a broader influence than she did. Her influence is very narrow, but it's more acute. Somewhat, there is definitely a different flavor, to the food. When you're talking about Kentucky Fried Chicken, which is almost identical, but Taco Bell, McDonald's, things like that, there is a bit of a difference because you have to please the taste and the palate of the local culture. So, pho, pho's okay. I mean, it's soup with noodles. I mean, you can find that anywhere. I'd rather have a Japanese noodle soup, ramen, udon, soba. I'd rather have that, but that's just me. That's my personal choice. What was I gonna? Like I said, I was watching, sitting here while I was doing my laundry, just not more than an hour ago, and I was listening to a couple, other truck drivers, talking about, this winter is going to kill me because I'm going to spend more money on coffee and more money on this and on that. I'm going, why? Buy a coffee maker, put it in the truck. Buy yourself a gallon of water at Walmart. You can get a gallon of water at Walmart for 85-90 cents. In that range. I think I paid these last 2 new bottles I just got, I paid 80 cents each. When you're on the road, you can't be eating out all the time. That's the number one thing, in my opinion, where truck drivers waste their money. They eat out 3 times a day. They're paying $10, $15, $20 per meal. Then they're buying cups of coffee. Some are buying cigarettes. Blah, blah, blah. That's your choice. But when you are spending $40 or $50, hey, Vito, do it. Just anytime, send me a message, and I'll show you what camera gear I use. So if you're going to start your channel, I'll give you what little bit I know to help you that. And also, Ag Hauler, I'm on the Apple system, so I'm using Final Cut Pro for my edited videos. I mean, it's a system that works for me, but Power Director works fine. Movie Maker works. There's dozens and dozens out there that can be used to do that. So if you're ever doing a channel, just do it. Don't worry about getting an audience. Do it for yourself. So I mean, it's like here, Ag Hauler. I love watching his stuff. I've learned from Ag Hauler several things about doing heavy haul. Several things that I just did not know, and that you really don't find out unless you're watching somebody who's much more experienced than you at doing it. Here it is. I'm in the 4th month of doing heavy haul. You add on the year experience of regular flatbed work, and I have a little bit of knowledge. I have a basic rudimentary understanding of how to do the job. But there are things that I don't know. And that's part of why I like the community that we have on YouTube, connecting to this person, then finding this person, then coming to this channel, finding this, and then participating in the live streams like this, definitely helps me to learn, which I'm grateful for. From Ag Hauler, Sergey Drachev, from Trucker 2 Chains. There's another guy out there called Heavy Haul Idaho, or Idaho Heavy Haul. He only put out a couple little short things, but if you would put out more, I would learn more, which is what I really like. I like having. So when I first decided to become a truck driver and started saving the money to pay for the tuition for school, I was on there every single day. I was finding new truck drivers to learn from and seeing what they do, taking it all with a grain of salt, of course. Leave that out the way. But at the same time, it wasn't about learning precisely what it was. More about learning how the lifestyle of being a long-haul OTR truck driver was. I believe, yes. I believe you're correct. And I think Mr. Kelly there at Trucker 2 Chains is the only one currently doing videos who does a beam trailer on any kind of regular basis. Sergey Drachev, he's running a regular art. He's running I think he's at a 90-ton RGN with 8 axles. And the last Trucker 2 Chains, he was loading a D8T bulldozer, and watching him get that hooked up was pretty amazing. Hopefully one day I'll move off the step deck and actually get into an RGN. That's, I want to get up to 8 axles. Is pretty much where I want to stop. I don't need to go 9, 10, more axles. I don't need to be doing, 115 foot trucks and, the big windmill blades. That's not what really interests me. I want to do the equipment, the machinery. Yeah, and I do agree. I like that video. I mean, he showed in that video, and things that, just little things he said, when you have a load that's 90,000 pound bulldozer, being off just 1 inch left or right makes a big difference. Basically everything that I've hauled right now has been 53,000 pounds or less. So being off an inch here or there, it's not as big of a deal. Yeah, I want to be balanced as much as I can, of course, but I have a little bit more of a fudge factor. I have a little bit more leeway than just when you're messing with something as big as that. So, but other than that, so we had I have my plan on direction I want to go, and just like getting into heavy haul, that was my goal from day one of becoming a truck driver. Start off with basic van driving, learning how to just be a basic truck driver, then moving to flatbed, learning some securement knowledge, and how to deal with loads of different sizes and shapes. Not everything fits right into, between two doors, you close and you put a padlock on it and you roll down the road. But for the most part, I've learned a lot, and I still have probably 10 times the amount still to learn. So I'm not in a hurry. But all right, Ag Holler, take care. Stay warm yourself. I'm glad you're feeling better. Just make sure you take care on the ice and snow and whatnot, and watch out for the crazies. People who think they're Mario Andretti out there, and oh goody, we got a guy out here who doesn't know how to park. And he's trying to bend his truck in a 90-degree angle. He's got two spots to go into, and he's trying to act like he has no spot on his right-hand side. He's not angling his truck in, and he's getting right up on my hood. So, I'm a little bit paranoid because I've been hit 9 times in 2.5 years. And he's bending this truck like he doesn't need to. I mean, so I'm just a little bit more paranoid. I mean, let's see. He really should not be that close to my front bumper. He's got 2 spots to go into. I mean, you don't need to be precise when you got 2 spots to go into. Get it in there, then get it straight. Don't try to, you're not doing a 90-degree alley dock at, getting your CDL. Yeah, well. No, I mean, the reason why I'm in this truck right now is because I got hit sitting at in a truck stop because some guy can't flip and drive. Any idiot can go forward. This idiot goes forward all day, every day. Well, when I'm allowed to go forward, when I actually have a load. But, he's kind of doing the Austin Powers deal in the tunnel. It's like he's got 2 spots to go into. He's made it much more difficult than it needed to be. Backing up is where you show your skill as a truck driver. I like to think that I've demonstrated that skill, myself. I'm not perfect. I've had to do my pull-ups. I've had to abandon a spot. I think about 6 spots in total I've actually had to abandon. It's just, people are making it harder than it needs to be. But whatever, that's my opinion. I know it's not everybody else's opinion. I'm not trying to be mean to the guy, but you need to practice your backing a little bit more. You need to think a little bit more about what you're doing so that you can get in. But when you got two parking spots to get into, and you can't do it, I think you need to brush up on your parking 101. Go back to remedial parking, basic parking skills, and he abandoned it. He gave up on it. My goodness. Oh well. Maybe he's still new. Maybe he just got his license last week and it's his first load. I don't know. Because I learned how to handle a trailer that I could not see back in the days when I was an arborist. I was a tree surgeon. I drove a 10-ton chipper truck with a dump body on it, and carried all the chainsaws in there, and I had a trailer that was narrower than the truck and short enough I could never see it unless by the time I backed up, it was like this. The trailer should be like this. It was like this by the time I could see it. So in order to back up, I had to develop sort of an X-ray vision, to know where that trailer is. If I turn the wheels this much, the thing's going to slide out this much. So you do that for several years, you develop a feel. Plus, unhooking that chipper and hooking back up to it almost every single day, 2 and 3 times a day, backing up into people's yards, backing up, in the woods and whatnot. You learned how to handle it. So when I came to truck driving, going from a trailer that was 8 foot that I could not see at any point in time until it was almost 90-degree jackknife, to a trailer that I could see 100% of 100% of the time, it was just easy for me. So maybe maybe I'm just not understanding the position he's coming from. Maybe I'm being too critical. I'm taking off my typical wintertime flannel. I got the heat on. It's been running pretty much all night last night, all day today. I'm actually going to take my socks off too because it's a bit warm in here. So we are settled down. I was thinking about doing some cooking for the live stream. Mr. Jones, how you doing, sir? I pray again that your wife is feeling much, much better after that appointment. And hopefully you're not too stressed out about it as well. And hopefully you have a little bit nicer weather. It has got the winter wonderland feel here a little bit. It was rather pretty this morning. Snow coming down, but not it's a truck stop, so it can only look so beautiful, but it was rather nice, seeing the snow falling, nice and gentle. The wind wasn't whipping around too much. Just nice. It was a nice view this morning. So hopefully you have some clear roads, so everything's safe, which is the number one thing. I don't care if it snows 16 feet in a day. If the roads are clear and safe to go on, that's perfectly fine. I'll go. Which to be honest, that's the number one thing that I'm worried about tomorrow morning when I go up here to Orange City, Iowa to make my delivery. I just hope the roads are clear, they've been salted, and that they're just wet. There's no ice. That's really the only thing that I'm truly concerned with. That because I don't want other people on the road skidding out and hitting me. I have enough experience and actual time driving in that kind of weather that I have a good feel of how to drive. And if at any point along the road, if I feel that it's too bad, I would pull off the road immediately. You know, well, it's looking too bad here, too many accidents, pulling off the road. Hey, I'm delayed making my delivery. The roads are bad. I tried to get here. I'm about half a mile away. Expect me when I get there. You know, other than that, these trailers don't have to be there. Nobody's life depends on these 8 trailers that have not been sold to anybody except for this RV and trailer plate company, you know, buying it from the manufacturer, but nobody has a need for it immediately. So, yeah, I want to get there, get it offloaded, get to my next load. But if it needs to wait because the weather or the roads are bad, it'll wait. You know. But we are just answering a message here. All right, I had to answer a message here. So we all know how that is. The electronic device rules our lives. So today, this morning, we actually, because we had enough time, we slept in a little bit. I didn't really get up till 8, which was a little bit later than I normally would sleep. But, you know, apparently I needed it, so I did. But got up, made some bacon, diced up some potatoes, fried that in the bacon fat and a little bit of butter, so they're nice and golden brown, a little bit crispy. And I did four strips of bacon, and I did 3 sunny side up eggs. Fried them in the bacon and a little bit of bacon fat that was remaining. Threw all that together, cut it all up so the yolk ran everywhere. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Had a really good breakfast this morning. And it wasn't one of them biscuits or muffins or anything else like that. And it cost me a hell of a lot less than going into, you know, McDonald's or Waffle House or any place like that. You know, that's one of those things that, you know, if I could save 65, 70% of the cost of buying it in a restaurant and I can make it myself, I'm going to do it. You know, yeah, maybe only like $4, $3, whatever I'm saving, but I'd rather cook it myself because I'll make it precisely the way I want it. It'll have the ingredient. I know what the ingredients are. I know how it was done. I'm not relying on somebody else to do the work for me. Which, you know, to be honest, I just don't really trust most cooks. You know, especially at, you know, little diners and whatnot, because, you know, I'm not trying to cast aspersions on people, but I've seen them. You know, some of these people just don't look like they really want to be there. They have no interest in mastering their craft or providing any kind of quality or professionalism. You know, so, you know, I'd rather do it myself. You know, sometimes it's okay to go to a restaurant. But it's like, when I can, you know, come into my own refrigerator, pull out some bacon, pull out a steak that's marinating for a day and a half, You know, I got eggs, butter, you know, I got some sausage, onions, tomato paste, bok choy, lima beans, mustard, you know, Parmesan cheese, eggs, celery, carrots. You know, why would I want to? Why would I want to? You know, pay someone else to do that when I can do it myself? Okay, Stevie, I'll talk to you later. I'll send you an email later on. And Nathaniel, how you doing, sir? Good to have you in. Thank you very much for joining me. Oh, look at this. It started to snow again. So, you know, we had about maybe an hour's respite from a little bit of, you know, just the light snow we've had all day. Haven't even gotten a full inch here in Sioux City. And looky. This TMC guy managed to blindside into 2 spots where another guy couldn't drive side back it in. That's the difference between a professional truck driver and a steering wheel holder. This guy here blindsided from the passenger side into these 2 open spots without hitting anybody, without taking forever. He just got himself in there, got out of the way, let another truck driver by. Now he's straightening himself out and moving over, so he's only taking up 1 spot. This guy can do that blindside, and the other guy couldn't, when he has the best vision possible, backing in from the driver's side. He couldn't get it in with 2 open spots next to each other. Okay, Stevie, I will do that. And I definitely want to talk to you, so we'll arrange that. You know, so you know it's one of my pet peeves. You know, it's bad enough. You know, when you have the amateur person out there, and I say amateur not in the derogatory manner. I'm just mean they're not a professional. They're not a professional driver. They don't drive a school bus or a taxi or a limousine or a truck, whatnot. You know, a professional driver. That's your job, is to drive. You should have a level of competency over everybody else. I mean, here's your 16-year-old getting their license. Here's your 23-year-old. Here's your 44-year-old who's never driven anything bigger than a Chevy Suburban. You know, and then here's your 44-year-old driving a Chevy Suburban for 30 years. Up here is where the professional driver should be. Whether you're driving just a taxi cab. All right, we'll talk to you later, Stevie. Thank you very much for coming in. I really do appreciate it. And then you have your regular, Class B truck drivers, your Greyhound bus drivers, school bus drivers, limousine drivers with the really long stretch. Then you have your Class A driver, like I am. Combination vehicle, tractor and trailer. It just doesn't seem like it should be that hard of a thing for when you go and get a CDL, why you can't learn to master your trade, master the craft you chose to do. Would you trust a carpenter who doesn't know how to use a hammer, doesn't know how to calculate the pitch of a roof, or does not understand how to lay out the stringers for stairs? I wouldn't. And back in the old days when I did carpentry, I had to learn those skills. And when I did learn them, I made sure that I practiced them as much as possible so that when I got a job, building something for somebody, I could do that. I mean, would you trust a doctor, a surgeon, to operate on you when he doesn't know when he can't hold a knife steady? No thanks. A doctor doesn't know what a liver looks like, who's doing surgery on you. I don't think you want that guy operating. And the same with the truck driver. A truck driver who cannot back up his truck is not a truck driver. He is what is called a steering wheel holder. He is not the kind of person who is trying to master their trade, master their craft. Like I said, I've been hit 9 times in 2.5 years driving trucks. Every single time by a fellow truck driver in a truck stop parking lot. I, on the other hand, have never hit anybody in a truck stop parking lot. And I intentionally back my truck in every single day. Now, there's the odd days where I'm just feeling lazy. I'm just going to do a pull through, but that's a rarity. Hey, Trucker Louisa, how you doing? It can be. The struggle can be. I mean, but, it's like the old expression. It's like riding a bike. You will pick it up that quick. And like I told one, when I was there in Arizona, on Thanksgiving Day, there was a husband and wife. She was learning how to drive, and he was teaching her. And, she was doing a good job. She was paying attention, listening, blah, blah, blah. And she asked me a question. How do I know where the other side of that truck is? I can't see it. When I looked at her husband, he said, go ahead and answer. And, I told her, you know precisely how wide your truck is. Your truck with the standard van, 8 foot, 6 inches wide. That never changes, ever. When you're driving a dry van truck, a typical reefer, it never changes size. Unlike what I do. I've been 8'6". I've been 14 foot on my width. Your height never changes in a dry van. Your weight never goes above 80,000 pounds. Your length never changes. Your width never changes. The only difference in a dry van that you'll ever really get is where your tandems are on your trailer. And that just changes your pivot point a little bit. Mr. Cooper, thank you very much for joining. Well, Nathaniel, I have made several deliveries down to, what is it? Something Valley, Georgia, where Bluebird Bus Company is. And I've delivered in there, and you can go down there, down near, it's somewhere near Macon, Georgia, if I remember right, called Valley. I have to look it up. But Bluebird Truck Company is down there. And they still make some of the flat front. So I've delivered, frame parts to that company, and trim parts. So, they're out there. I mean, I saw a really nice K100 the other day. I mean, he had the big stretch on it and looked really nice. But like I said, I like the big hood. I mean, cab overs are neat, but I like the big hood sitting out there in front. I drove the aerodynamic trucks. I drove a 2016 Volvo 670, I believe it was. I drove a Kenworth T680. I've been behind the wheel of, a Freightliner, of an International. I've been behind the wheels. I've driven them, sparingly, but not for a long period of time. So in school, doing a couple rescue pickups. So, I've driven a good number of vehicles, and I prefer this. A Scania, I figured you would have been an Ivecta girl. Or maybe driving a MAN or a Mercedes. I mean, if you go to my on my YouTube channel page, you go to the channels tab, and on there you'll find some European drivers on there. You'll see some pretty nice trucks on there. So if you go to that and you scroll down, you see every single channel that I subscribe to for on this Trucker's Life. Every single channel on there that subscribes to me, I subscribe back, and there's a lot of them there's some European drivers, Korean drivers, British, and also I think I have one or two people from I think one person in Brazil, I think, and I think there's a couple of people in Mexico, but you'll be able to find a lot of stuff on my channel on the channels page, other truck driving channels, and they may give you some advice or show you something that I don't. So definitely check them out. And everybody else, check out Trucker Louisa's channel as well. She's got a few videos up, and hopefully you put out a little bit more. I always enjoy the perspective of other people and how they approach the job and how they, quote unquote, live in the truck. I haven't seen enough to say what your normal schedule in the truck is or how often you take home time. But it's always nice to see. It definitely is always nice to see a different perspective, and so you get to know how to do things maybe in a better way. And I've learned that. There were things that I was doing at the very beginning that were working, but I've learned from a couple channels and other truck drivers a better way to do it, and now I do it that way, and I'm benefiting by it. So I don't take it as an insult when someone says you should do it this way. I'll give it a try, and if it works out better, but sorry, just answering another message here. But yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. There's too many different types of trucking that giving up on trucking, period, when you don't try different things, I think that gets some people into trouble. I have a friend who started with me at trucking school. He did dry van from the day he started up till about 4 months ago when the company that when Schneider shut down Watkins Shepherd Trucking. He went without a job. He took a little bit of time off, and now he just got back into he just got hired again. Just went through orientation. He's waiting for his first load on Monday. He's going to do reefer. So he's going to do something new. He doesn't know if he's going to like it or not. I myself, this is the third different style of trucking that I've done. I've done one reefer load. I've done, dry van, local delivery, one food load, when I deal with a lumper. I've done, you know, flatbed for a year. I did the regular OTR long haul to all 48 states. I've not been into Canada yet. I got to get my passport back. I got to do that. Well, Alan, that's kind of a trick question, isn't it? Most farm boys are out there driving a tractor by the time they're 7. They're driving a pickup on the farm by the time they're 7. A 50-year-old school teacher, depends where they are. In New York City, they may have never driven a car in their life. My grandfather was from Manhattan. He lived in Manhattan. He took the train out to Long Island, where he picked up his car from the, from a place to park, and then he drove back in to the northern part of the island, or to the southern part of Manhattan, to go to work. His experience driving a car was pretty negligible until he absolutely needed one. But then he couldn't have his car at his house, because he lived in the heart of Manhattan. Yes, I have, Nathaniel. I've heard of them. I actually listened to a podcast once. I don't know, about 2 years ago, but I'd rather listen to a podcast about viruses, about bacteriology, about cooking, about construction. Aquaponics and hydroponic farming. I'd rather listen to a podcast about that than about trucks. Like I said, I enjoy looking at a nicely well-built and well-kept truck, but I'm not that in deep to it. Now, don't get me wrong. I enjoy being a truck driver. I have thoroughly enjoyed this job with its ups and its downs, its normal stuff, every single day, the shipper, the receiver, the traffic, the weather, the breakdowns, the dispatchers, all that stuff, that's minor, background noise that everybody deals with in any job. So I'm not that kind of, I just think of that as it's just going to happen. Don't complain about it. Don't get upset about it. But the regular part of being a truck driver, I thoroughly enjoy doing. And being a heavy haul, oversized truck driver, I truly love doing. This is the type of trucking that I wanted to do from day one. When I first decided I was going to be a truck driver, I started watching on YouTube trucking videos, truck driver videos. And I learned from that. I saw what different types of trucking were like. And I saw heavy haul truck driving and said, that's what I want to do. Rhonda, don't worry about that. You take care of yourself. That's much more important than this idiot. I'm just here blabbering. You got much more important things to think about than me. Well, thank you, Alan. I appreciate that. I mean, I'm just a simple guy doing a simple job. But having the base of knowledge and experience and things that I've learned in my short 48 years of life, it gives me a particular perspective. And my little bubble of time that I'm in is not the entirety of the world. Too much has gone before me. Too much is going to come after me. And my little bubble doesn't even encapsulate a 1/10 trillionth of what the possibility of humanity is. I'm just a little passing thought in the grand scheme of things. So, I have to broaden my points of view in order to truly understand life and myself. So, but what else did I want to say? Okay, electrocardiogram, echocardiogram. Yep. Well, I'll say a prayer for you, Rhonda, and hopefully you have a diagnosis that can help you get back to what you want to be. But like I said, when I got into trucking, it was without an illusion that some of these guys have out here. Oh yeah, I'm going to make I'm going to make $100,000 in a year. No, you're not. I've seen the videos how to make $1 million a year trucking. You ain't going to do that. There's no multi-millionaire truck drivers out here. Now, trucking companies, if you're the owner of a trucking company, like the owner of my company, which has 200 plus trucks on the road and has, 40 or 50 people at the main office, he's making $1 million a year in profit, approximately. But that's after decades of trucking. That's after decades of running a business that he's at that level. I don't have that kind of illusion. I'm still around the $65,000 range right now. But it's not all about the money. That's what too many of these knuckleheads out here, I don't make enough money. I'm not making any money. I'm not making money. Well, that's your problem. You're not trying to master your trade so that when you reach a couple years down the road, 5 years down the road or so, you can get into a position where you can earn $150,000 a year because you have the necessary and requisite skills, and you've demonstrated those skills that you are now worth that amount of money. I'm not there yet. I'm a $65,000, $70,000 per year driver. I am here at this company in my 4th month. I'm here to learn. Yeah, I make a pretty good salary. About every 2 weeks, I have $2,000 in my pocket every 2 weeks. Well, I earn that much. I don't, take out taxes and all that other jazz. Oh man, I'm sorry, Ralph. I didn't know that. I will be saying a prayer for you as well, of course, for you and your family. And just hope you get it diagnosed and you can have proper treatment so you can get back to being like I said, spry and everything else. Like I said, too many guys out here are not making the attempt to be the best at what they're doing. You may not want to be a truck driver for 20, 30 years. But while you are a truck driver, be the best you can be. You may not want to be a clerk or a janitor or a dishwasher or a pizza delivery driver or, whatever it is that you're doing to get by. Because what I learned, my very first, official job, not just mowing somebody's lawn as a kid, or whatnot. I learned that the knowledge and skills and experience I had washing walls, scrubbing toilets, running a mimeograph machine, mowing, hillsides and digging out ditches and whatnot, I learned valuable lessons that I still apply to my life and my career today. They had nothing to do with trucking, but some of those lessons are directly applicable to my life now as a truck driver. When I went back to school in 1992 to learn mechanical drawing, drafting, computer-aided design, or computer-aided drafting and design, architecture, whatnot. I worked at Pizza Hut at night. School full-time, worked at pizza full-time at night. And I got to a point, I started off as a pizza cook, running the line. Then I drove. I did the delivery aspect of it. I ran the registers. I answered the phones. I made the dough in the morning, on the weekends. I became a shift manager. I became the head driver for the little branch I was in. Then I became the head training driver for the entire franchise in Baltimore. It was because every step of the way, I made sure that I was doing the absolute best that anybody could do in that position. I knew how to run everything in a branch. And I was requested several times at 5 other Pizza Huts in that franchise to come and help them out. And, some people say I wrote the book on how to do this. Well, I can actually say that as a literal documentable fact. I wrote the driver's handbook for that franchise there around Baltimore for Pizza Hut. Trucker Louisa, have a good night. Yeah, get your rest. Make sure you're safe going down the road. Don't go until you are safe in your own mind, no matter what the dispatch says. It's your life. They don't need that stuff other than that. Yeah, just do a little bit of that, record, throw it up. I'll be watching. So definitely but have a good, safe trip, during the nighttime hours here. Talk to you later, Louisa. Have a good night. But like I said, I wish more truck drivers out here would make an attempt to master their craft. And the number one thing you have to do as a truck driver to master your craft is learning how to back into a parking spot. Like I said, this guy had 2 spots to get into and couldn't do it. Then this guy comes in a couple minutes later, blindsides into 2 spots, and does it in half the time before the other guy gave up. Like I said, that may be just personal opinion. Maybe I'm not understanding what his difficulty was, but sitting here watching it out my window and knowing how to do that, because I do it all the time, I think I can make a fairly, not an opinionated, not have an opinion on it, but actually be able to judge, properly, make a rational assessment of what he's doing right and wrong. I wish more people would do that. All right, whatever. Blah, 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 blah. Me and my arrogant opinion. Maybe it doesn't count for much, but I get to have it, right? All right, well, I did want to talk about a product. This is not an endorsement. I'm not being paid to do this. This is one of those things. If you have a need for this particular type of product, I can say, from my experience, this has been very good for me. And I would say that, if you want this, if you want something similar, this is the product to get. All right, so we all need a vacuum cleaner, even on a truck. This is a Black & Decker, see it, Dustbuster Flex Lithium wire. Without it, cordless. It's got the flexible hose on here. It's got a couple of different attachments. I think it's got like 2 attachments, particular model I got. So it's got the short nozzle here. They got the one with the crack and crevice. Got the swing up brush there. And you can take it off, use it like that. And it's got the canister that you just twist. Remember how to do it? Oh, yeah, you got the canister just comes off like that. It's got a filter in it right there. You just open it up here, dump it out. It's a pretty good little vacuum cleaner. It has a pretty good power to it. It's pretty good suction. It'll collect a good amount before it starts to bog down. I mean, I can easily clean this truck 3 or 4 times before the battery goes dead on it. It costs about $60. I think it was $60. I think it's what it cost me at Walmart. It was, it was right there. I had a regular like Dustbuster, the single long 1-piece job. It didn't quite get into the corners and didn't have the amount of power that I wanted. But this one, because it's got the flexible hose, I can get more places. It's got the attachments for it. I can do, I can get it wherever I need it to go. So if you need a good cordless handheld vacuum, wire, cordless, that's not a bad one to get. I think you could. There are ones that are a bit better out there, but you're going to pay $200, $300, $400 for them, and I don't think that's entirely necessary. I mean, but for being in a truck, it's small, it's compact, it has the flexibility I need and want, and it does a pretty good job. So, if you need to ask any questions about that, my personal experience, just put it up there. So, we're probably going to make this a short one because, why not? Don't have a whole lot of topics to go on. I probably said everything in this live stream that I've said before, so there you go. Like I said, we had a good day today. All the dishes got done. I do my dishes either with, little, the Clorox or Lysol wipes like this, or I take them into the shower, which I did, today for some of the stuff that that's a little bit more stuck on. Go in the shower, take care of all my other grooming, wash the dishes, let them soak a little bit, scrub them down, and then, throw them on a towel to dry after I wash them and rinse it. Bing, bang, boom. This whole bag I had in the shower. Right, so some vacuum assisted, containers with the lids. Some regular Tupperware, like 5 pieces of Tupperware, little simple plastic jobs. I got a couple of plates, some forks and spoons. You know, and then the lids for these containers. So did all that in the shower. So, you know, my little, you know, the lid for my shaker cup and the agitator ball. Now we're trying to go ahead and hook that back up. So, you know. So I, you know, washed all that in the shower. Little attachment for my for the vacuum pump for the you know, containers, and also for the bags. You know, so pull that cord out the way. You know, a bowl, the steamer, you know, insert for the rice cooker, and a pan and a pot. You know, did all that in the shower, and then once they were all clean, I bathed myself, and, you know, and moved down the road. You know, so cooking in a truck is not that difficult. There are ways to do it. The only thing that I need that I don't have, which will make it even easier, is a plastic table that I can fold up, and it'll be at like a countertop or sink height. Mr. Baggs, not since I was a child. So, but like I said, you know, cooking in a truck is easy. You don't have to have all your meals are cooked in the microwave. You don't have to have plastic plates or paper plates, you know, paper, you know, towels, plastic knives and forks, and eating pre-made food. It's not necessary. You know, up here, you know, I have about a dozen kitchen towels. I don't have paper towels. The only paper towels I have are outside for when I get my hands covered in grease. But once, you know, I'm gonna pick me up some you know, nitrile, you know, gloves that I can just peel off and throw away. You know, I'm going to do that when I got to work with a lot of grease. But I have hand cleaners out there, so, you know, it doesn't really matter either way. But, you know, some of these truck drivers always complaining about the money that they're earning. I don't earn enough money. And I have to constantly remind them, it's not how much you earn. It's how much you spend and how much you save. Now, if you're earning $1,200 a week and you're getting $900, $800 in your paycheck every single week, you have to look at where that money is going to go. Do you have a car? Is it paid for, or does it have a financing on it to where you're paying money every single month to have that car? Does the car have insurance? You're paying for that as well. You're paying for the maintenance and the fuel of that car. Are you renting an apartment, or do you have a house? Do you have a mortgage? You know, those are the things that you have to spend money on. See, me right now, I have no car. I have no apartment or house. I am able to save about 65% of my paycheck so that I can go when I'm ready, go buy that piece of land and then build the house that I want and pay cash for it, not have to go into debt, which is what I want. You know, so right now, live in the truck and suffer a little bit of deprivation. I don't have all the things that I want, but the number one thing I want, I will get because I'm suffering now. I'll cry now, laugh later. I do treat myself to some luxuries. You know, I go out to a restaurant when I want. I'll go to the movies when I want. I'll buy a gadget, a camera, when I want. But that comes out of the extra money, not the main, not what I need to do first. And like I said, the biggest issue with a lot of truck drivers is eating at the restaurant, eating at the truck stop every single day, 2 or 3 meals a day. Buying coffee every single day. No, buy a coffee maker, put it in the truck, 80 cents for a gallon of water at Walmart. That'll make you a week's worth of coffee right there. Why wouldn't you do that? It doesn't make sense. The coffee you make in the truck will be cheaper. It'll be precisely what you want, because you find the brand and the flavor you want. You can have that any day you want, and you can buy multiple brands. Oh, I feel like a Sioux, Mexican jumping bean variety, or a Colombian turtle pickle variety, or whatever coffee comes in, and you do it yourself in the truck. It takes a couple more minutes, but you wind up getting it cheaper, faster, and better. And you don't have to get out of your truck, trudge through the heat, the rain, or the snow, or whatever, dealing with the garbage on the ground and the people inside. If more truckers would listen to that, they'd be less worried about their money. So I'm going to end on that exciting note. Like I said, we are here in Sioux City, Iowa. We got here Saturday at just about noon. Sat here all day today. Got the laundry done. Got the dishes done. Did a 34-hour reset. And tomorrow morning at 6 a.m., I'm going to make my way up to Orange City, Iowa, a little bit, about 45, 50 minutes north, or miles north. Let's not talk about minutes, because I don't know how the roads are going to be, whether it's going to be, I don't know how the road's going to be, so I'm going to take a little bit extra time. And that's exactly what I'm saying, Alan. My pots, my pans, every single thing that I used to cook with. I mean, rice cooker, pressure cooker, stick blender, hot plate, panini maker, pots, pans, knives, forks, spoons, plates, bowls, all that. You amortize that out over 1 year. You're adding up maybe $1 to your meal. But after that first year, you're saving money. This refrigerator doesn't hold a lot, but I have a week's worth of food in here. And I can cook anything from Mexican to Vietnamese cuisine. If I want to do Greek flavors, I have the spices and the herbs to do Greek. If I want to do Chinese, I can do Chinese. I want to do Moroccan, I have the ability to do that. So it's up to us as truck drivers to watch out for what's best, and what's in the Pilot or the Petro, the Flying J, the TA, the Mom and Pop. It doesn't matter. It's not what you earn. It's what you spend and what you save. So like I said, I will go ahead and end it on there. Thank everybody for coming in. Mr. Floto, Mr. Cooper, Mr. Bags, Trucker Louisa, Rhonda, Stevie, Steven, Brent, Nathaniel, Ag Hauler, Nathaniel, TJ, Jones, and the Bull of the Woods, Trucking Vito, thank you very much for coming in. I know you already left, but I'll put a shout out to you. Keep an eye peeled for when Trucking Vito starts making films. David Richardson, thank you very much for coming in. Tracy, thank you very much for coming in. Appreciate you as well. Matthew Johnson. Thank you all for coming in. Thank you for watching. And like the usual typical sign off, hope you all have a great day and success, and God bless. Have a good night.